Good day, everybody. Welcome to the 26th of May, 2025. We're going to talk about what's happening here in the Valley in Santa Clarita and talk about some of the things that you should be watching out for if, in fact, you're preparing to sell or buy a residence. So currently, over the past month and a half, we have had quite a bit of additional inventory added to the market in the form of residential units for sale. Single-family residences, condominiums, townhomes. As of today, the 26th of May, it's 10:27 a.m. We have 738 total active listings on the market for sale out here in the Valley. What does that mean for sellers? For you guys, there's more competition. A lot of the sellers I talk to, they're encountering a big change of life because they seem to be following their kids out of the state. That seems to be a lot of the calls I'm getting. And where they're going, places like Utah, North Carolina, Tennessee, Idaho, Nevada, northern Nevada, lots of places like that. And they seem kind of giddy like kids. They're very excited, but of course they're apprehensive and somewhat scared because they've been in California for so long. In fact, they've raised their families out here, but their kids are doing just some awesome research, looking for other places to set up shop and set up home and raise their kids. So we're watching those changes, and we have sellers coming to us and, they're selling something they've lived in for 30, 40, 50 years in some cases. And now they're going to be embarking on an entirely new book in their life, not chapter, as I said before, but book. That being the case, we're watching as we're starting to get an increase of inventory here in Santa Clarita Valley. So we've increased almost 200 units since the first of the year, and that will continue as we keep getting into summer and early fall. But then we're going to start to see a reduction of those numbers, at least as far as listings coming onto the market. The buyers out there that are looking for real estate, some of the points that we like to talk about with them is just understand the neighborhood you're going to be living in, understand the Melrose taxes, if they happen to have them, and when those drop dead dates actually are, and if in fact they really are end dates or if they can be continued for whatever reason. And then finally, what's that HOA look like? What does it do? And what's its primary function? And is it locally managed, or did they hire a company to do so? Sometimes the locally managed HOA, if they have a board, they have their own infrastructure in place, they're not farming it out to a management company. Sometimes that's a double-edged sword on that one. Sometimes you get the stories of people going for the boards that really get excited about the power it gives them, although albeit very limited, but it seems they thrive on that kind of power add in their life, and that can make it problematic. And then if you have a management company managing the HOA, again, you have maybe less caring and less concerned, and realistically you're standing in line in email trying to get anybody to connect with you about maybe a perceived problem you have. So there's two different ways to do it, but at least know going in what that particular HOA happens to be operating as, and you can figure out maybe if that's a good fit for you, but don't just neglect that. Also, a lot of people ask about schools, where are the proper resources to go and vet schools. And I know you'll go online, you go to any of my systems, there's school apps built into those, and they're going to be weighing the schools on awards. And I can't help but think in some of those cases, it's like the real estate world where we could pay a company, an expert, to refer us as their chosen agent and all that other horse crap. I think schools kind of are in that same thing. The way to really vet the realtor and the school, you got to talk to them, folks. You're going to have to pick up that phone, maybe set up a Zoom meeting face to face if you don't want to meet in person, or meet in person, or just have them show you one house and see how they do it. If they send you, well, they'll have to send you a buyer broker agreement. I would just set it up that way. I would say, you know what, let's see what Connor's like. We'll call him, tell him we're interested in buying something, and let's go see how he talks about it. Let's see what he talks about when he gets to the house. What's he like? Is he doing things to protect us, or is he telling us you need to buy this house right now, or it's all going to be bad for you in the future? Is he talking about the roof, the electrical, the plumbing, from what he can see? And I'm no contractor, but I have been doing this since '98, so there are things I would look at if I was buying the house myself, or having one of my family members buy the house. These are things that I do with all of my buyers. That's maybe a good way to gauge whether or not the buyer's agent you're selecting is truly certified and proper and really is reviewed like they show online. It's a good part of that process. In addition, with the schools, that's another thing. If you have school-age kids, you want to do a little bit more work, you can drop by the school and say, hey, is there somebody I can talk to here? Because I'm moving into the area, my kids are going to be going to this school. I would kind of like to interview somebody and see what it's all about. They don't get that request hardly ever, so I'm sure they would roll out the red carpet for you. And if not, well, you'll have to do what you have to do. Go online and say, yeah, it was really sad. I went by this particular elementary school, as Connor suggested, and let them have it. I'm Connor with Honor. I hope this helps. The buyers out there need to be pre-qualified before you get too close to start looking at properties, just so you know the affordability factor. You got to know where those payments are going to be, about maybe where your interest rate might be. I know you don't have a particular property selected. It's all variable and all of these sorts of things, but you can get a ballpark figure on what your payment's going to be. A lender can do that. And if you're a seller out there, getting your sea legs a little bit and figuring out, what's that sale price look like. And don't ever let that sale price be so dependent on comparables, especially if your house is somewhat of a unicorn and it has special attributes. Buyers are willing to accept paying more for things that they're not going to find elsewhere. That's a fact. I'm Connor with Honor. We will see you in the next one. Check out SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com/coming soon. If you don't have access to the coming soon inventory and you don't have a real estate agent, if you do hit them up, they'll be able to send you these things. But if you don't hit me up, I will send you them and it'll be easy. Just give me what city you're interested in. Maybe you want all of the Santa Clarita Valley. I'll send them all to you. It's not overwhelming in number. Every day you might get 2 or 3. That's about where we are currently. We have 738 and 23 coming soon listings that have been slotted that you're not seeing on the online systems. You're not seeing them even on my website, SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com, and I'm local. They have to be emailed to you. So let me know if you want those. Again, SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com/coming soon. I'm Connor with Honor. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.